Praise the Lord. Let us see today Genesis chapter 25 about the marriage of Rebekah and Isaac. So for that, I'll give the topic, that is, then like uh, uh, why do obedience over why do obedience over family matter is very important? Why do obedience over the family matter is obedience is important in all ways of life, especially over the family matters. We will struggle to obey. We will struggle to obey to in the family matters. So here, why do obedience over the family matters very important? Genesis chapter 24. There we are going to see the marriage of Isaac and Rebecca. And this is Genesis 24. I put it 23. I'm sorry. So Genesis 24, 26 and 27 is a key verse. Everybody please open the Bible. Genesis chapter 24, not 23. I put it 23. It is wrong. Genesis 24. Memory verse is nothing but the key verse is 26 and 27. Then the man bowed down and worshipped the Lord. Who is the man? We are going to see in coming slide. Saying, praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham. So that man is not Abraham. That man is bowing down and worshipping the God. The God's name is God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. Who is the master of that man? The master of that man is Abraham. Yes. And that man was now worshipping and praising God and telling that God, the God of Abraham, the God of my master, shows his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my master's relative. So that man is on journey. He's traveling a long distance. Why? To find out a particular girl for his master's son Isaac. So in that journey, Lord led that man in that journey, and moreover, Lord correctly led that man to his master's relatives people. So that's what he bowing down and worshipping Lord. So we are going to see what is the matter and how he traveled and how God led him and how Isaac and Rebekah got married. And first of all, what was the request of Abraham to his servant? So that we are going to see today, and God, how God fulfilled his mission. So let me go to the topic. Before that, as you all know, Genesis book has 50 chapters. Among that 50 chapters, we have already finished the general dealing. Then what is general dealing? That is there in 1 to 11 chapters. There we saw creation, the fall of man, the flood, and the formation of different nations. After that, forming the entire nation, God is going to deal with the one nation. That nation is a nation of Israel. So the nation of Israel details are given from chapter 12 to 15. To form the nation of Israel, God first of all selected a man named Abram. Then he's changed his name to Abraham. So we are now dealing with the life of Abraham from the chapter 12 to 23. Now I'm going to chapter 24, that is marriage of Isaac. So after the marriage of Isaac, Abraham is going to die. So I'm going to tell this chapter 24 is going to regard mostly about the life of Isaac, because Isaac is going to get married. So we are going to see today here the Genesis chapter 24. Before that, what and all we have finished in the life of Abraham so far. We saw the journey, and there are some failures and success in Abraham's life. And then he met the man called Melchizedek, who is the king of Jerusalem, and he is a type of Jesus Christ. Then Lord made a covenant with Abraham, and then Abraham gave birth to Ishmael through the maid servant Hagar. And then there was a promise of Isaac, because God told only your wife Sarah is going to give birth a son, and you have to call him Isaac. The promise of Isaac birth was fulfilled, and Isaac was fulfilled, and so Abraham and Sarah gave birth Isaac at the age of Abraham at the age of 100 and Sarah at the age of 90. And there was a final testing of Abraham, where God told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, but Abraham Abraham obeyed it, at that time God stopped him, and instead of sacrificing Isaac, God showed him the ram, and Abraham sacrificed the ram, and God made a everlasting covenant with Abraham after that. After that, what happened? Sarah died in the promised land, and he was buried in Machpelah. That's what we saw previous class. And now today we are going to see about the marriage of Isaac and Rebeka. And before that, we are going to see there was a servant of Abraham. Who was that Abraham's servant? Abraham's servant, traditionally identified as Eliezer of Damascus, was sent on a crucial mission to find a wife for Isaac in Genesis chapter 24. In Genesis chapter 24, we are going to see the exact mission of this man called, that name of the servant was not given, but traditionally they are telling that servant name may be Eliezer of Damascus. So that journey we are going to see, especially in this Genesis chapter 24. This is one of the longest chapter in Genesis and provide a beautiful picture of faith, divine guidance, and God providence. So in this chapter we are going to see three things of the that is faith of Abraham, and also the Abraham servant. Not only that Abraham and Abraham's servant, faith of Rebekah also we are going to see, and the divine guidance of this servant, Abraham's servant from the land of Canaan. Now they are staying in Beer-sheba. From that land, that man is going to travel towards Aram. That more than how much it is, 740 kilometers distance. This man is going to travel. How many kilometers? 740 kilometers is going to travel. In nowadays we have car, we have aeroplane, we have so many good communication things, but those days only camel is there. So that man is going to travel such a long distance with the camel of 740 kilometers. During that travel, God shows the divine guidance and divine providence that we are going to see today. So the Elias of Damascus is only the name of the is a name of the servant, because you know that before Abraham gave birth, he had no children until the age of 90. Once God reached him, that at that time Abraham told, wow, God, only I have no children, only my servant, whose name is Eliezer of Damascus, is going to be my heir. In those days, when a rich family, when a wealthy husband and wife don't have children, they can adopt a slave as their children. That's what Abraham thought, and that condition, because God didn't give him any son, so he thought this Eliezer of Damascus is a good servant, maybe I'm going to hire him as my son. That's what they thought, adopt him. But God didn't do like that. First of all, Ishmael born to Abraham and Hagar. Then Isaac, the promised son, born to Abraham and Sarah. So this Eliezer of Damascus might have been the heir of Abraham and Sarah if Isaac or Ishmael didn't born. So this man has lost everything. Now he became slave only. If Isaac was not there, he might have been the son of Abraham and Sarah. But that was not given. Even in that condition, this man was so faithful, and so faithful to his master, and also having the faith in the Lord, who is the Lord of his master Abraham. So that we are going to today. So why do obedience over family matter is very important? Genesis chapter 24. This I am going to divide it into 4 parts. One is a commission. Who is going to give the commission? The commission is going to given by Abraham to his Abraham servant. What commission we are going to see now? Next is the trust. The trust of the Abraham servant we are going to see. Third one is the success of Abraham's success. Abraham's servant's journey was going to be success. And fourth one is the completion of Abraham's servant's mission, and also not only that, God's plan completion is we are going to see today. So first is the commission. What is the commission? We are going to see today Abraham's instruction to his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac is a commission. Commission means what? Commission means giving one detail to a person and asking him to do one work, and providing all information, all authority to that person to do some certain work for him. That we call as a commission. An important mission to be fulfilled. That we call as a commission. So that is a commission who is giving Abraham. So Abraham's instruction to his servant. The servant name is not given, but theologians are telling he may be the who I said that the servant may be the name of the servant may be the Eliezer of Damascus. Maybe it's not given, but that servant is what? A faithful servant to Abraham. So Abraham instruction to his servant. Why? What is the instruction? To find a wife for his son Isaac. Okay, that is there in Genesis chapter 24, 1 to 9. So in this we are going to see Abraham's blessing, we are going to see Abraham's request, we are going to see Abraham faith and oath, we are going to see in 1 to 9 verse. Okay, in 1 to 9 verse we are going to see about Abraham. Then only we are going to move towards the servant condition. So what is for Abraham commission to his servant? Abraham's blessing, Abraham's request to his servant, Abraham's faith and oath while giving his commission. First of all, Abraham's blessing. Genesis chapter 24, 1 says, Abraham is now very old, and the Lord has blessed him in every way. So very, very old. So what may be the age of Abraham? They are telling the Abraham age is 140 years old. And he was extremely blessed with wealth, status, and influence. So Abraham covenant was fulfilled in his life. Only one point is not fulfilled. That is ownership of his promised land. Only he won only one piece of land. That is a cave in Machpelah where he buried his wife Sarah. Only that place is belong to him. All other place does not belong to him now, but his generation people are going to get it, isn't it? Only that is not fulfilled. All other Abrahamic prophecies are fulfilled. He became wealthy, and he was so status. He has very high blessed with the status and influence, and now he is 140 years old. Since he has become very old, what he is going to do? He has to get marry his son Isaac. So he is going to give a request to his servant. What was the request? That is given in Genesis 24, 24. Sorry, 2 to 4. What is the request Abraham is going to give? So Abraham was old and recognized that Isaac needed a wife. So he made him, he made his servant, trusted servant, swear an oath to find a wife for Isaac. In those days, if they want to give a commission, they make a swear on oath. This is the oath. You have to give me. Yes, I will do. So what he want to ask the oath from his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac. So he asked 3 questions. What 3 questions are there? There are 3 questions are there in this portion, Genesis chapter 24, 2 to 5. The first question is what the servant was not to do. Abraham is telling something the servant should not do. What he should not do? He must not get a wife for his son Isaac from the daughters of Canaanite. Here we are living in Canaan. I don't want any girl who is in the Canaan. First thing. So what servant was not to do? Not to get Isaac a wife from the land of Canaan first. Then what the servant was to do? He must go to Aram. What is Aram? Aram was Abraham's country of origin. From Aram is also called Syria. From Syria only Abraham country is there. From there, so Abraham relatives are also there. So the servant has to go to Aram and get a wife for his son Isaac. So servant has to travel from the Canaan. From the Canaan they are living in Beer-sheba. From there he has to travel to Aram, and there he has to find his relative. From that relative people, he has to find one girl as a wife for his son Isaac. So what was servant? Then after hearing this, servant is asking one question. He was very worried about that. What concern? What worries that servant? That then servant asked, what if the woman refused to come? Okay, if I go to Syria, your Aram, I find out your relatives. Okay, when I ask the girl, please come to Canaan and give and marry Abraham's son Isaac. If the girl refused, no, I don't want to come such a long distance. I don't know you people. I don't want to come. I don't want to leave my parents. I want to stay here. If you want, you bring your son Isaac. I will marry and stay here. If that woman say like that, what I have to do? He's asking. And then Abraham should not take Isaac back. Then should not take Isaac back to Aram, so he could be married there and live there. So Isaac is asking, should I take Isaac back to Aram, so he should marry there and live there? So he's asking. What was the reply of Abraham? Abraham firmly said, no. It's very, very calm. No. Isaac must stay in the land God has promised. Because what Abraham is thinking is that it is better that Isaac should remain single in the land than to go to Aram and be married. So 3 things are very important. One thing, the servant must get a wife for his son, not from the daughter of Canaan. Second thing, what the servant has to do, has to go to Aram and to go to his relatives and find a wife for Isaac. Third thing, if the woman does not want to, didn't want to come here and live with Isaac in the promised land, then no need for Isaac to be taken to Aram. He should be stay here only in the promised land. You should not go to Aram or Syria. So this is what has happened. Okay, then what happened is that here, after hearing this, then Abraham faith and oath is there. After hearing this, he also became concerned. Oh, what to do if the woman didn't come? What happened? He also thought to fear. At that time, what Abraham said, Abraham assured the servant that God would send an angel to guide him. Now Abraham is telling, don't worry, God is going to send an angel. Why? To guide you. If the woman refused to come, the servant would be free from the oath. Now he is taking the oath. If this woman did not want to come, then there is no oath between that. You can just return back. No need to marry. No need to get a wife or a girl from my relative place. There is no oath. That you are free from oath. So the servant oath by placing his hand under Abraham's thigh. Now, after hearing this, servant took his hand and put it on the Abraham's thigh and told, yes, in those, that is the custom of those times. If you put a hand in the thigh and said, yes, I'll do, that means you are telling as a covenant to oath and telling that I will surely do it. If he is not going to do, he is going to be punished. That is their custom. So he kept his hand on the Abraham's thigh and said, yes, I'll do. Then Abraham told, the Lord God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my native land, and who spoke to me and promised me on an oath, said, to your offspring I give this land. So I have all the Abrahamic covenant are fulfilled. Only I didn't have this entire promised land. Only my descendant are going to have this land. So God has promised this. So he will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there, and don't take my son to the Aram, and my son has to live only in this promised land, because already God gave a covenant and oath, gave to me, and he told that to my offspring is going to give this land. To get that blessing, my son has to stay in this promised land. So don't take my son to my original relative, original native place, Aram. So this is what is happening. Abraham has a great faith and oath and told that God is going to send you an angel for your guidance. So this is finished. So what are the three requests of Abraham to the servant regarding his son Isaac? First request, do not take a wife for Isaac from the Canaanite place. Second, go to my homeland and find a wife from my relatives. Third, do not take Isaac back to my homeland. So this is what we learned first in commission. Three things is very important. Keep it in the mind, because here the servant need the guidance. Understand? Now we know the GPA is there, isn't it? Now we know WhatsApp is there. Now we have mobile is there. If we want, we can call. Oh yes, I'm sending my servant. Please, please take over him and talk to him. If you want to give your daughter to my son, please discuss with him. We can say in the WhatsApp. We can call. We can put an email. Isn't it? Now the communication is so nice. But those days there is nothing. Isn't it? So this man, the servant, that is Eliezer of Damascus, didn't see the relatives. He didn't know anything about them. He was a slave and servant in Abraham's house for such a long time. Now Abraham is sending Isaac to the place, unknown people. But in that journey, God has to provide him. God has to take that servant directly to that relative's house, directly to that girl, directly he has to ask them whether they are ready to give their daughter to Abraham's son Isaac. So this is a great process. In that process, the three things are very important. Do not take a wife for Isaac from the Canaanite woman. Abraham wanted Isaac to marry someone from his own people, not from the Canaanite, who did not follow the true God. Go to my homeland and find a wife for my relative. Second, the servant was to travel to Mesopotamia, that is Abraham's birthplace, and choose a wife from his extended family. And third one, do not take Isaac back to my homeland. Even if the woman refused to come, Isaac must stay in the land God has promised to Abraham's descendant. So with that, what is the lesson we are learning from this commission? Three lessons we are learning. One, faith in God's promise. Abraham trusted that God would provide a wife for Isaac. So that trust you and me should have. We should have that faith in God. If God promised, certainly he will do. Abraham have this. Second thing, obedient. That is very, very important. Even if you have the faith and no obeying the God's word, no use. Obedient. The servant was careful to follow Abraham's instruction. Now the servant is very, very careful. Obedience. Third, the marriage was purpose. What was the purpose? Isaac's wife needed to share in God's covenant, not follow the way of the Canaanite. So the wife of Isaac should be share in the God's covenant. That is, the God made a covenant with Abraham. So his offspring, God is going to give the promised land. The next is trust. So our first commission is over. Next portion is trust. What we are going to live in, what we are going to learn in this portion, the trust of Abraham's servant in God as he seek a wife of Isaac. Now we are going to see that. So the Abraham portion is over. Now we are going to see Abraham's servant portion. Here we are going to see the trust of Abraham's servant in God of Abraham as he seek a wife for Isaac. That is there in Genesis chapter 24, 10 to 27. So in this, we are going to see four things. One is servant's journey. He has to travel from promised land towards Aram, Syria, in the Mesopotamia. So next, servant's prayer and trust in God. From the beginning until the end, the servant is trusting God. More than 5 times, he prayed and prayed and prayed. That we are going to see. Third thing, God directed him immediately. God didn't take him to some other family. He has to search that family. Oh, we are not this family. They may be staying there. Go this side, go south, go east, go west. They didn't say like that. God directed the servant directly to that Abraham's relative. Abraham's servant gave gift to Rebeka. So, who is that girl? The girl name is going to be Rebeka, and the Abraham servant gave gift to Rebeka. So, where the servant found Rebeka and what gift the servant gave to Rebeka, and how was their journey? How the servant find out only the Rebeka is the promised girl the God is sending. There are so many women are there. How the servant came to know that only that girl Rebeka is going to be wife of his master's son Isaac. All these things we are going to see today in this portion. So the servant's journey, Genesis chapter 24, 10 to 11. The servant, now about the servant took 10 camels and valuable gift, gold, silver, very precious items and valuable clothes, because Abraham is very rich now. He's very rich. He has sheep and goat. He has gold and silver. He had a maid servant and male and female servant. He has camel and donkeys, full of wealth. So he's taking so much thing of wealth in 10 camels and showing he was preparing for an important mission. He set out for Aram. Where he's going? Aram Naharaim, and stopped at the well in Nagor city, where women came to draw water. Immediately, they didn't say how was the journey, but the Bible says the journey was good. Immediately, the servant reached the place called Aram Naharaim. What is called Aram Naharaim? Aram Naharaim means Aram of 2 rivers. So that place is called Aram Naharaim. That Aram in Syria, another name. So that place is called Aram Naharaim because in that place there are 2 rivers. So he went where? To the correct place where the river is flowing. Okay, so the city of Nahor was a city of Haram. So what is the distance he traveled from Beer-sheba, that is Canaan, to the Aram Naharaim? He traveled 724 kilometers or 450 miles. So he traveled. So then after he went there, what he did, though, so the river is flowing. So he went to that city wall. So he had a camel kneel down near the well outside the town. So outside the town, there is a well, and the well, what the camels kneel down, he did, and then it was the evening time. The time the woman go out to draw water. So this is a condition. Now he reached the land. The camels need to take rest. So the camels are kneeling down near the well. Now it is the evening time. The women are coming to the well to take the water. So this is the condition, the circumstances there. Now he's thinking. Now Abraham's son, now reaching the place, he's going to pray. So servant's prayer and trust in God. That is Genesis 24, 12 to 4. So what he prayed, servant, oh Lord, God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today. So that's why I told he's with great trust in the Lord, he's telling, please grant me success. He trusted God completely, asking for a clear sign. Now I came here, I'm going to ask a sign you got. What's the sign? What was the sign the servant needed to direct him to right person? He is asking God, your servant, what is it? The right woman would give me the water, and also what have for water to my camel. I'm going to ask water to one girl. That girl has to give water to me. I won't ask her, give water to my camel. She herself has to tell, not only I give water to you, I give water to all your camels. That is a sign. If that girl say that girl is going to be the wife of my master's son Isaac. So this is what he talked with God. He came one agreement with God. He prayed with God, and there was agreement between the Abraham servant and the God. That is a sign. With that sign, they saw one girl. Okay, he at that time Rebecca came. So, so with a water, with a pot in her shoulder, she went near the well, fetched the water, and she came out. At that time, the servant prayed. At that time, the Lord God of my son, master son, made me success today and show kindness to my master Abraham. He was praying. When he was praying, what happened? God directed him immediately. How God directed him? Before he finished praying, Rebecca appeared. What happened? He was praying to God and asking a sign to God. Before he finished the prayer, Rebecca appeared there. So she was beautiful and was from Abraham's family. What was Abraham's family? Granddaughter of Nahor. Who was Nahor? Nahor was the brother of Abraham. So Nahor was the brother of Abraham, and this girl Rebecca was the granddaughter of Nahor. So understand what is the relation which is there. So she, what happened is that when she came there, what happened is that she fulfilled the every exact sign, and she offered him water and watered all the camels. Okay, what he did? No, when he came to know that this girl is coming, immediately this man ran to that girl and asked, give me some water. That girl is Rebecca. This servant didn't know who is that girl, but that girl gave water to the man, and not only she told, I tried to give water to all your camels. The 10 camels drank full water. So that girl fulfilled all the signs what the servant asked from the God. The servant watched silently, waiting to see if she was truly God's choice. So what is doing? She gave water, little water, only to this servant to drink, but she gave enormous amount of water to the camel. It took a long time for her to fetch the water from the well and pour it in the trough for the camel to drink. She was doing it very, very swiftly, immediately, fast she is acting, and this man was looking at her quietly and checking whether this is a girl, whether this is a girl. She was thinking like that. So Genesis 24:21 says, without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. So this is over. Now God directed him immediately. Abraham's servant gave gift to Rebekah. Next portion. What we are going to see, Genesis 24:22-27. When the camel has finished drinking, the man took out a gold ring, nose ring, weighted a half shekel, and two gold bracelet weighted 10 shekels, and he gave it as a gift to Rebekah. Rebekah means what? Calf like. The Rebecca word means calf like. He gave that gift to this girl. But in the Bible, it is written Rebecca. Until now, this man didn't know the name of the girl. Okay, but for our convenience, I'm telling Rebecca, isn't it? So this man gave all this gift to this girl. Okay, okay. Now the servant asked this girl two questions. What he asked? One question: whose daughter are you? Asked me. Then, is there any room in your father's house for us to lodge in? We want to first think whose daughter are you? Second, is there any place in your house so that we can stay in your house this night? Because we want to stay in your house. These two questions this man asked the girl. And what that girl answered, she answered, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son that Milcah bore to Nahor. So what was it? Daughters, this lady, this daughter, this girl, father was Bethuel, and mother was Milcah, and Milcah was a daughter of Nahor. So what is the connection now? Nahor was Abraham's brother. So who is this girl? This girl is the granddaughter of Nahor. And who was Nahor? Nahor was the brother of Abraham. So they are the second cousin. was the Rebecca. Rebecca was the second cousin to Isaac. So they are close relatives. And she added, we have plenty of straw and fodder as well as room for you to stay in the night. So she answered who she is, and there is plenty of room. Please, you can come. Now, what the lesson we learn from this? So this portion is over. So second portion is trust. So what we learn from this? Prayerful dependence. That is what is very, very important. This servant relied on God's wisdom, not his own. He has no wisdom. With the prayerful dependent, he asked God a sign, and the sign was fulfilled. Patience and observation, because the servant waited to confirm that God's plan was unfolding. He was not hasty. He was patiently waiting and checking whether this girl is completely feeding this camel. For a long time, he was patient when observing. Next is grateful worship. The servant did not take credit, but immediately bowed his head, worshipped, and gave thanks to God. After this woman told, I am a granddaughter of Nahor. Oh, Nahor is my master Abraham's brother. So this is the correct place God sent me. Immediately, this man bowed down and worshipped God and thanked to God. He didn't take credit for himself. So what lesson we learn? We should, in the lesson we learn in the trusting it God is, we should be prayerfully dependent God. We should patiently observe and wait for until the God leading, and then after the God leading, we have to give the grateful worship to the God. This is the lesson we learn in this portion, that is trust in God. Now what? The third portion is a success. That is going to be success. What we are going to see in this portion, Genesis chapter 24, 28 to 60. Abraham's servant succeeded in this mission to find a wife for Isaac, showing God's faithfulness and the servant trust in him. Now that's a success. It is going to be success. How is going to be success? We are going to see today. So, in this success portion, Genesis chapter 24, 28 to 60, we are going to divide into three parts. First is Rebecca's family welcomed the Abraham's servant, one welcoming, because the servant asked two questions. Whose daughter are you? And is there any room in your house for us to lodge in today? So, two questions that servant asked. The girl told, I am the granddaughter of Nahor, and in my house there are plenty of room and plenty of food for you and also for the camel. So now what is the thing? This servant along with the camel is going to stay, is going towards the Rebecca's house. Okay. So what happened there? The Rebecca's family welcomed this servant first of all. Then Rebecca family agrees to give Rebecca as a wife to Isaac. Then Rebecca they asked Rebecca, are you willing? Rebecca willing to go with the servant. She didn't say, no, I don't want to come to your place. You bring your Abraham's son Isaac here. I will marry him and let me be both live in Aram. I don't want to come to your promised land, Canaan or somewhere else. I don't want to come. It is far away. I don't want to leave my parents. She didn't say like that. She did. She willingly said, yes, immediately I want to go with you. Immediately I want to go with you. That's what Rebecca said. Rebecca family welcomed the servant. Genesis 24, 28 to 33. Rebecca ran home. So what is now happening? After receiving the gift from that man, what gift he gave? He gave golden nose ring, and he gave two bracelet. Okay, very heavy bracelet, gold bracelet. Taking all this thing, what that girl Rebecca ran towards her family, and then her brother Laban, and told she went and told that I saw a man, and that man gave me all this gift, and that man is waiting near the well. And she went and told to the family, and there was a man called Laban. Laban was Rebecca's brother. So Rebecca's brother saw this gold gift, everything. He got astonished because he want more gold. He want more money. This man is always money minded. When he saw this gold, all these valuable things, he got shocked, and he along with Rebecca ran to the place where that man was standing, and then Laban told, please, servant, come to my home. So her brother Laban welcomed the servant warmly. After seeing the gift, the servant was invited inside, but he refused. The servant came to the home of Rebecca. They all be there, and they provide food for camel. Everything is over. They gave water. They washed their hands along with so many men. This servant didn't come alone, because he came with the 10 camels. So to take care of 10 camels, there are so many people also traveling with him. They didn't say how many people traveled. so many people traveled. So for all these people, they have to provide food. So when they gave the food to the servant to eat, he refused to eat. And then he said, I want to fulfill my mission. And then only I eat. He said, I want to say something to you. I don't want to eat now. First I say why I have come here, and then only I'm going to eat. They say, yes, you tell. At that time only the servant told, I am the servant of Abraham. Then he told everything what has happened, what Abraham told to him, why he traveled towards that, and how he saw this Rebecca, and how God fulfilled the sign, what he asked God to fulfill, and then how he gave the gift, and how he saw those people, and how he was here. Everything he explained. Then uh, then what happened we are going to see today. So then the food was set before him, but he said, I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say. Then they said, tell. At that time he told everything to them, what he told, what all happened, and he was the servant of Abraham, and why he came here, everything he told. Then the Abraham faithfully retold the story. He then asked if Rebecca would be allowed to marry Isaac. Then he said, this is what has happened. Now you tell. Now you tell. Can you give Rebecca as a wife to my master's son Isaac? He's asking. And then Laban and Bethuel, who was Bethuel? Bethuel was Rebecca's father, recognized God's hand in this mission, and they agreed to give Rebecca as a wife to Abraham's son Isaac. Laban and Bethuel answered, this is from Lord. We can say nothing to you one way or other. Here is Rebecca. Take her and go, and let her become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed. They are themselves telling, Lord has directed. We cannot say yes or no. God's hand is here. So this is our daughter Rebecca. Please take her and go. Go. Let her become the wife of your master's son. Can you see here how God directed? So the Rebecca's family agreed for this marriage, and Rebecca's willingness to go. Now what happened? That night the servant ate the food. So they slept in that night. Early morning the servant got up and told, yes, you agreed, no? Come, let us go. Rebecca, come. Now we have to go immediately. They said, immediately? No. The family wanted her, Rebecca, to stay for 10 more days. Why you are taking my daughter immediately? Let her stay here for 10 days. Please. But the servant urged them to send them immediately. No. I don't want to waste my time. I want to go and tell my master that God has directed me correctly, and my God is a faithful God. I have to go immediately. Please let her go. Please let us go. I want to take this girl with me. I don't want to stay here for 10 days. When they asked Rebecca, willingness agreed to leave her. Then they asked Rebecca, okay, you ask Rebecca now whether she want to come. Rebecca told immediately, yes, I want to go. Yes, I don't want to stay here. I want to go immediately. So before leaving her family, the family blessed her, praying that she would become the mother of many descendants. So before sending, the father, Bethuel, and her brother Laban, her mother, all the relatives came and blessed her. What they blessed her? So they sent their sister Rebecca on her way along with her nurse. They gave one nurse to Rebecca to help her. The name of the nurse is not given here, but the name of the nurse is Deborah, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebecca and said to her, our sister, may you increase to thousands upon thousands. May our offspring possess the cities of their enemies. Now they are blessing. You are going to give birth more children. Your children are going to capture the cities of their enemies. They are going to prosper. They blessed Rebecca, and they sent Rebecca along with one maid servant. The maid servant name was given here, but the servant name was Deborah. So what the lesson we learn from the servant success? The 4 lessons we are learning was, first of all, what happens, what brings the success to the servant? First of all, total dependent on God. In each and every position, each and every condition, this man was praying. He's totally depending on God, isn't it? He prayed at every step and trusted God guidance. He asked, give me a sign to the God. And God showed the sign. Immediately he took that guidance. So total dependence on God is needed for your success in your life. Second thing, faithful obedience is also needed. If God is showing the guidance, you have to obey it. That's what servant did. Faithful obedience. The servant acted immediately when he saw the God's answer. What's the God's answer? The girl fulfilled the sign. He gave water to me, and not only to me, to the servant, but also the 10 camels. So immediately he he acted immediately and gave the gift to Rebecca. Recognition of God's plan. How he recognized, he acknowledged that Rebecca was chosen by God. Immediately he is recognizing the God's plan. That is also there. If you are not recognizing that you are not in the God's plan, he recognized the God's plan and that he acknowledged that Rebecca was chosen by God, and Rebecca's willingness is also there. If Rebecca said, no, 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 I don't want to come, oh, no success. So he has to come empty-handed, isn't it? So Rebecca's willingness, her quickly decision showed faith and courage. She also had the faith and courage. She believed everything, the God's leading, and she went immediately with the stranger. See, no girl in those girls. Now also we never go with the strangers, isn't it? This immediately she's telling, I want to go with him. So this can see this Rebecca's faith and courage. So for the success, we need four things: total dependence on God, faithful obedience. We have to recognize God's plan, and that we should be act immediately. Willingness should be there. So these are all there for this completion. Now the fourth portion is a completion. It's going to complete. The mission is going to complete. The successful completion of Abraham's servant's mission and the fulfillment of God's plan in providing the voice of Isaac. That's what we are going to see in this portion. Genesis chapter 24, 61 to 67. Here we are going to see, first of all, Rebecca's departure to the promised land. Immediately she told, yes, first is the success. She is going to go away from the Aram, which is a city of two rivers, towards the promised land. That is there, Genesis 24, 61. Rebecca and her maid left immediately with the servant, showing her faith and obedience. They rode on camel towards Canaan, where Isaac was. Where is the Canaan? Canaan is a promised land where the Isaac was. So they are going to travel. What's the traveling distance? 740 kilometers they are going to travel. With this lady is going to travel along with her maid servant, whose name is Deborah, with that servant of Abraham. So they are going to travel. They have to travel 740 kilometers. Now they are traveling. Abraham's, at that time, what happened? This Isaac was there. When they reached the land, Isaac was meditating. Okay, and there was a divine. That's so at that time Isaac was meditating and praying. We are going to see at what place Isaac meditation and divine appointment. Genesis chapter 24, 62 to 64. Isaac was in Beer-sheba in the field meditating, possibly praying in the evening. So by the evening time, they reached again where? To the promised land, to the Canaan. Isaac was staying now. Isaac was staying in a place called Beer-sheba. Beer-sheba. What is the meaning of Beer-sheba? Beer-sheba means the well of living one who sees me. Who gave this name? Hagar gave this name. When she saw her son is dying, at that time God shows this well, and she named that well Beer-sheba, and she took water from the well and gave it to her son Ishmael, and then Ishmael became revived, and Ishmael became big, and Ishmael also got married and settled in another place. But Hagar only gave this place name. The well of the name of the place is Beer-sheba, which is a well of the living one who sees him. So now Isaac is staying in that place. So he's evening time, he's meditating and praying. Okay. So at that time, what is Isaac looked up and saw the camel approaching. So looked up. So now the place is called the one who sees me. Now Isaac is looking up. God's plan was unfolding before him. Now he looked up. God's plan was unfolding him. And now Rebecca also got down from the camel. Rebecca also looked up and saw Isaac. She got down from the camel. So both of them looked up. In which place? The place is Beer-sheba. Beer-sheba means well of living one who sees me. Now God is also seeing both of them, and both of them looking at each other. See, can you see the place Beer-sheba, where God sees us? In that place, Isaac is looking at Rebecca. Rebecca is looking at Isaac. Both of them seeing together. Now what is going to happen? Isaac and Rebecca marriage. Now it's going to marriage. Then the servant told Isaac everything. Then Isaac asked, who is this girl? And this girl asked, who is this man? Then the Abraham's servant told to Isaac, everything what happened. I went a long distance. This was a sign given, and this is the name of Rebecca, and she's your father, brother, Nagor's granddaughter, and this is, and that's why I went a long distance, and she may be your wife. So all this thing, the servant told Isaac. The servant told Isaac everything, how God led him to Rebekah through prayer and divine guidance, his mission given by Abraham and guided by God, and was successfully completed. Everything he told. Isaac came to know that Rebekah was one that was chosen by God to be his wife. Now you know everything. Yes, this is a girl for me. So Isaac brought her into the tent his of his mother Sarah. Now, by this time, the Sarah has died 3 years before Sarah has died. Okay, still there in Berlahai Rogi, there was a tent where before Sarah was staying. In that tent only, Isaac was living, but Isaac was very sad because of her mother died. His mother Sarah died, and Isaac is living in his mother's tent. So now what is Dave doing? He took this wife, Rebecca, and went into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married Rebecca. So she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was confirmed after his Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. That means Isaac was crying for 3 years, and now this Rebecca came, and he took Rebecca into his mother's tent, where it was in Berlagai Rohi. Berlagai Rohi means what? The God who sees as all our sufferings. Now God see the suffering of Isaac and brought the beautiful girl Rebecca as his wife, and Isaac immediately brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married Rebecca. So she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Now he's very happy. So happy marriage life is finished here. Can you see here? Yes, such an excellent story. Such an excellent one. What we learn from this? God's plan was fulfilled. First thing, God's plan was fulfilled. Rebecca was chosen wife for Isaac, completing God's will. The servant's mission was a successful. He remained faithful, trusted God, and saw the mission to complete. Isaac and Rebecca union was blessed. Their marriage was based on God's direction, love, and purpose. This is what our family should be. If a person is faithful and relying on God, God will certainly fulfill his plan in our life. This passage teaches that when we trust God's guidance, he brings his perfect plan to complete in this perfect time. In his time, in his period, he will completely, surely fulfill his plan. It is a God's guidance. So that's what we learn from that. So today we learn about why do obedience over family matters. It's very, very important. Commission, trust, success, and completion. And today we learn that spiritual theme and lesson is that God guidance in decision, faith and obedience, hospitality and character, covenant and lineage, God's guidance in decision, the servant's prayer and God's response show how divine guidance works when we seek him sincerely. God's guidance in decisions. So when we want to take any decision, you should see the God's guidance in your life. If you want to study somewhere, if you want to take some group, if you want to go to India or somewhere to study, whatever decision you are going to take, you have to seek God's guidance in taking the decision. After that, you have to show that faith and obedience. Here, the servant and Rebecca respond to God's plan without hesitation. Servant also traveled 740 kilometers and correctly reached the Abraham's relative's house. There he found Rebecca, and Rebecca also ready to come and travel such a 740 kilometers along with a stranger and come to the promised land. There is a great faith and obedience in the servant life and also in Rebecca's life. Hospitality and character. What is hospitality? Rebecca's kindness and willingness to reflect the qualities of godly wife. What is the characteristics of godly wife? She's ready to help that man. She's ready to do all the housework, like immediately to provide water for the 10 camels. It is a great work. It took long time to do that. So this shows she's really a godly wife. And she immediately ready to trust God and travel along with them, the servant, to the promised land. So the hospitality and character is also very important. Covenant is there, lineage. This marriage fulfill God's promise of Abraham, ensuring the continuation of the covenant. God's promise is fulfilled. This should be happen in your life, my children. In your life, what all thing you are going to take the decision, everything should be guided by God. Where you are going to study, which job you are going to take, which person you are going to marry, all these things God is going to guide you. You believe in God's guidance, have faith and obedience, show hospitality and good character to other, and God will certainly fulfill his promise in your life also. So I finish with the memory verse, Genesis chapter 23, Genesis chapter 24, 26, and 27. Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. For as for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my servant's relative. This is what the servant prayed. Now you understand why he prayed. With this, we finish our lesson. Thank you for joining, children. God bless you all. God bless you all.